Good now. Hello, family. First off, I'd like to thank you for how well you treated me. I had a 15-year run thanks to you. By the way, I got a new show coming up. It'll be starting in February. It's called Hot Topics with Judge Joe. Now, Doc, I've known Doc for 45, 46 years. He's always been the man. He's got a unique distinction. He's the only mayor in a large city in America that got the police department under control. Some of you remember when this place used to be what it used to be. And you know, if you know that, you remember when we were struggling to get crumbs when we were a small minority in the city. And at one point it looked like we were getting a little more than crumbs, it was getting good. Then we got to 1991 and we couldn't hack it anymore. Some of you don't even remember what that's about. Well, the late Judge James Swearingen and I were over in the Election Commission office in 1991, and the colored folk were getting unruly. People were standing up on cars because they knew something was going wrong, so we were over there and they were trying to steal the election and claim they couldn't find the DVDs or the CDs rather with the election results on there until the brother who was a janitor came up and said, what you gentlemen looking for over there in that desk, second drawer on the left. So we said, well, who put it in there? So James Swearingen and I, Judge Swearingen, we had our bailiffs over there in uniform. I said, well, I tell you what, you tell those gentlemen to come over here, and we brought them over. They said, I'll tell you what, now if you have a short-term memory loss, quit smoking the dope, but if you don't remember what's going on and we find what we think we're going to find in that drawer, each of you got a 250 grand bond on you. So when they suddenly had a recollection, you know, oh my God, I found out, I think I made a mistake with something in there. Well, it turned out when they ran it, Doc won by 124 votes instead of losing by 80-something. But now, see, it's time for him to come back because his work's unfinished. We got to get the police department back in check. We got to do some things where they don't get out of hand anymore. We don't even get crumbs anymore. We get nothing at all. And too many of our folk who look like they're supposed to be our leaders are running around under the table. They're taking handouts under the table, and some of them, they playing Skittles trying to taste the rainbow. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And we'll get nothing. And now instead of us being a small minority, the other folk ain't but 19.1% of the registered voters, and look what's going on. Now, I don't even remember the names of Doc's opponents, including the clown that is the incumbent. A clown, a never been anybody, third string bench warmer that should be fired from the team, and he's sitting up there in charge playing quarterback. We got some big oversized woman that's in her 30s. We checked her out, and she's got 50 grand got raised by the incumbent for her campaign. Strange, that sounds like old time splitting the vote. We have corrupt people, and speaking of which, let's not get off of her. She introduced a resolution in the county commission for the county commission to spend $243,617 on a 48-year-old M113 armored personnel carrier for the sheriff's department in case the colored folk got a little bit unruly on a long hot summer next year. She also passed a resolution letting our name in Van Turner buy 2 lots of property so they could get rid of Nathan Bedford Forrest statue and the statue of Jeff Davis. Well, that's nice, except they're offering $27 million for what got paid $5,000 for. What about our tax dollars? See, that's what we've got out there right now. A whole bunch of half-stepping colored folk don't know what it is to be black, to claim to be our representation. They're too busy being down low and playing crazy nonsense, trying to get something in their own bank accounts, and we get zero. See, it's time for that to change. I'm so tired of it, I don't know what to do. So that's why I said, okay, my sister over here, Mrs. Ricky Stone, and Cliff Dates, long-term acquaintance of mine, we met at an unmarked grave with an unregistered body in it years and years ago, and I did a little representation for him in the in-between. They said, Judge, you got to get out here and say something. So I won't be long, but we have to get fired up. See, we know what it was like. We went through it. We know where it could go, but we haven't gotten to it. We know what we need to do, but we can see, me and you, that it ain't getting done, and it's time for somebody to do it. I'm supposed to be retired. But I can't be retired when it ain't right. You know, I mean, it's not safe to go out where we live these days. Because you got too many young males out there don't know what it is to be a young man. You got too many young women out there that don't know what it is to be a young lady. You got somebody that's in the mayor's office right now says the solution is to get them some computers so they can play video games. They need to be getting their education. See, that's what kind of nonsense is going on, and we got to put something on the table to stop that. Now, that's good stuff over there that was coming in and out. See me over there now in gray suit. I'm looking good, right for old man. Come out of retirement. But we need somebody like Doc. Now, 6 years ago, I emceed a roast for him, and people were talking about how he used to handle business in City Hall. See, Doc was at one time undefeated Golden Gloves heavyweight champion. And he tells his story, or used to, about how he was on the way for his first professional fight, and he got to thinking about it, turned around and drove back to Memphis, and then got his PhD and became Doc. But see, when he was the mayor, he was not above quietly snatching somebody in the hallway. I said, let me give you the facts of life. There's a thing called an ass whooping, and there's a thing called a smile. Now you can get a smile or an ass whooping. And quite frankly, I like mayors who administer ass whippings. You know, Doc is a big man. And he got zero tolerance for stupidity and foolishness. Now we need somebody back in there right now who has zero tolerance for foolishness and stupidity. I liked it when he used to tell the directors of the police, if there is one thing going wrong out there that impacts the citizens of this city and you haven't taken care of it, you will find out when you got home that evening that you no longer had your job. And he went through 6 or 7. See, all that corruption and under the table, he stopped that, but they wanted to badmouth him. But you see, he didn't need it. He was on everybody's board of directors for GM, IBM, Boeing, and all of that. And homeboy was making big money. But you see, they got all these little penny-ante people that are taking stuff under the table. Now, there's one so-called black leader that fell by the wayside. We can go back to those statues. Strickland saw to it that he's getting $5,000 a month to store Nathan Bedford Forrest and Jeff Davis in a $126 a month storage facility. See, that's what time it is. We have these corrupt voting machines, the D-ball voting machines, that are so corrupt that California put an instruction manual out on the net on how to hack them. All you need is a cell phone, and they give you instructions step by step. the Justice Department 11 years ago said they're no good. And they gave the city and the county the money to replace every damn one of them, but they've been sitting on it for 11 years, and all it takes is a majority resolution. And we got the majority of colored folk up in there and a few black people, and they won't pass a resolution. 11 years. See, we need somebody again to offset that. Remember when the police were respectful a few years back when Doc was in office? And they said, yes sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, please, thank you, may I? You get to see older ladies in the community with donuts and coffee out there at the stop sign to give it to the cops because they were nice. Then my former law partner, AC, kind of let that slide. And then Strickland is trying to encourage that befouled cartoon show, that juvenile kangaroo mess they've got called the Shelby County Juvenile Court. Memphis and Shelby County has been railroading our children and jacking our families around, and the feds have them under edict, and our current mayor in a majority black city is trying to get them out from under it so they don't have to act responsibly. Now, this is the largest predominantly black city in the United States of America. Did you know that? All right, now let me tell you what we have that people have not developed. Doc didn't have time, but he wants to get to it, I'm sure. In Europe, they put all of the stuff that they make on these barges, and they float them down to the Mediterranean. Some of the goods they put on trains and trucks, and they go to the seaports on the Atlantic. Well, if they float them to the Mediterranean on these barges, they put them on ocean across the mid-Atlantic where the weather float them out, and then they get a tow. It takes about 30 days to get them up here to Memphis, and they go through the world's largest barge unloading facility on President's Island, and that's when they run the stuff through customs. Europe and the Middle East have been trying, begging these clowns in office right now to let them get in here so this place can be the Chicago of the 21st century. But these narrow-minded, selfish clowns that we've got in there right now that want something in their back pockets or something they can swallow. And they play together too. They sure do. And we can't get it because they can't think that far. But it's time that we got on our feet again. It's time that we did what we can do again. It's time that we made our voices heard again. It's time that we unified again. And it's time we got Doc back in office again. Doc, where are you?
All right, baby, thank you. All right, love you, baby.
Doc, you coming up? Well, that's all right. Where's our comedian? He was going good. Come on back over here, young man. Talk about me like that. There you go. It's all love for Joe. Y'all give it up for Joe Brown, y'all. Y'all think about what Joe says, and a lot of that stuff make a whole lot of sense, right? Alright? But look, we're gonna play a little song, then we're gonna bring Doc up. Doc, you wanna come on right now? Y'all give it up, y'all. Make some noise for Dr. Herenton.